Hey, my sister told me it was a buzz last time, and so I think I got it fixed, and I'll start over. But I'm waiting on her to come in and tell me whether there's a buzz or not. So I'm just gonna sit here for a little while. But the whole point of me being on live right now, just so you know, is that I want to talk about my mom a little bit, um, just to see. So, um, but yeah, I just before I get started, I want to make sure that there's no more buzz there because I can't hear it through my headphones, but she heard it. So I want to make sure that no one else is being bothered by a buzz or anything. Um, yeah. So I'm going to give it a minute. But while I'm waiting, just in case there is no buzz, um, like I said, everyone kind of, or like I want to say, because I deleted the last video, everyone kind of mourns in different ways and do things a little bit different. And so for me, I like to talk and I like to talk out loud, like think out loud as I'm talking. And I'm never really shied away from speaking in public forums. I may shy away from speaking to you personally, but I like this is a comfortable space for me. This is a space that I like to be. And so, in this particular space, this is one of the best times for me to talk about my mourning process, how I'm grieving, and how I'm dealing with things. And one of the best ways to do that is to start by just saying thank you to everyone who has given me and my family, kind words and have sent prayers and all the different things during this time. And so, basically, yeah, definitely want to say thank you for that. That means a lot, in those moments when you just sometimes you wonder, like, um, you don't, sometimes you don't want to have to wonder, like, are you alone in this process? And everyone reaching out and assuring that, we are not alone and that everyone's with us. And people are mourning and grieving because my mother played a role in so many different people's lives. Um, she was a lot of people's other mother. Like when people lost their mother, she became a mother to them. Let me know if there is a buzz, if you can hear it. Like I said, I don't want to start all over again, um, but when I think about my mom, it was so funny because I had to realize that like I share her with so many people, like who identified her, with just more than just my siblings. Even like with my step siblings, which I have, a handful of, they all love and cherish her in a particular way, like so. Um, it's just a beautiful thing to have a mother that was loved and loved so many people. And so when you have that, when you have someone who's like that, it's just like, wow, you want to make sure that you honor that legacy and you honor like how she lived with the way you live. And for me, like, and I say this, and it's not in like the drama of like, hey, I just lost my mother. It's like a real life truth. She's one of the people that I have known that lived Christ like. Like she lived in a way where, don't get me wrong, it wasn't perfect, right? She wasn't like one of those people who did everything just right. But she lived in a way where, like, the way she hugged you, the way she loved you, you knew you were special. Like, you didn't have to doubt, like, are you loved by her? That's one of the things I just loved about my mother is that I never ever questioned, does she love me? And here's the funny thing also, as an adult, now maybe as a child, I may have questioned, does she like me or something, like in the drama of just being a teenager or something, but not really. Like, I always knew that my mother liked me. And that's an important factor when it comes to like loving other people. Like, you love yourself as you love your neighbor, you are loved by God. And so, like, when it came to my relationship with my mother, it mimicked that in a way. Like, I knew that I was loved by my mother with a godly like love, right? Forgave me, often just provided and protected me. Like, so I knew my mother was like that. That's who she was. But on top of that, the icing on the cake that really like God like really placed in my spirit about my relationship with him, like with my relationship with God, is that like I'm not only loved by God, but when I look at the favor and the grace and I look at like my life and all the blessings, and outside of just those intangibles or those attributes, also like I recognize that like I'm liked, I'm loved by God, like God messes with me, like I am a friend of God, right? And I recognize that like in my relationship with my mother, as I have to reflect, she messed with me. She liked me. And she told me that. Like she was like, she liked my presence. And it's nothing like knowing, like we all know that like our parents love us because it's sort of like, oh, you have to, you know what I'm saying? But do they like you? You know, like I like my kids. Like I like all four of my kids. Like I don't be like huffing and puffing when they come around like, oh, here come this dude. You know what I'm saying? Like I like my kids. And they're like really genuinely great people. And I like hanging out with them. I like laughing with them. They keep me laughing. And I look at my relationship with my mother, and she took time to let me know, you know, she was like, I just like having you around. And you know what's funny? When I know that, like, when I know that my mother liked having me around, it gave me like a sense of confidence to be like, I don't really care what the rest of the world feel about me. Like, that's how she made me feel. And I know she made a lot of other people feel that way. Like, you came in the door, she welcomed you in. And, like, all of those things are like, it's all parallel to like how I feel like, man, my relationship with, you know, like with God is. Like, she gave this perfect example of parenting the way that we are loved by God. And so I just want to always share those moments and like really reflect on it. Like, this is me, like being like telling you dead honest truth. Like, she was a warm, loving person, but like she was also full human. Like, her full humanity was always on display. If you had, you know, an intimate enough relationship, you got mad at her sometimes. Sometimes she had to apologize to you. Like, she was the real deal. You know, like I put like as the description of this, like talking about my mom, right? Talking about my mama, but then I put FMR. If you knew my mama long enough, you knew there was an expression she said when she was surprised or you said something new or something, she would say FMR. I'm not gonna say it, but if you know her, and like my siblings are laughing right now, they know what FMR stands for. And so like she showed you her full humanity. And that's the thing I loved about her. She was never like Miss Goody Two Shoes or just too, you know, like she got into it with you sometime. We would talk about politics and other different things, and sometimes she would be passionate. And so like I love that she didn't agree with you. She wasn't gonna tell you like it's okay or whatever. Sometimes she'll tell you. The other thing that I loved about her, and I will say this because I don't feel like I'm embarrassing her or anything like that. If you knew her, you knew there was certain things that me and her butted heads on. That was funny. It's like a hilarious, but we butted heads on. I went through a phase where I just hated the N word. I still don't say it. That's what I'm saying, the N word. My mama would say it. So, like, we were talking, oh man, I think it's like a year ago or something. I came home to visit. And I would never get a chance to come home to visit too much. And it was before COVID, so this was a while back. I believe it was the visit that I posted from the video I posted yesterday. And we were talking, and I was telling her like about a funeral that I had to do, and I was telling her like, you know, we were just joking, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do your funeral, and she was like, nope. She didn't get serious, but she was like, nah, you can't do it. She was like, you're gonna be too upset and crying and everything. You're gonna be able to do it. She was like, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna do it. You can't stop me. You're gonna be gone anyway. And she pulled out the N word. She's like, you know, N word, you ain't gonna do it. Now listen. And so I know that I'm not gonna be able to do the eulogy because I'm gonna actually obey what my mama said. So when we do have a service, and we will at some point try to do what's best and, you know, do what's safe, because COVID is real in these streets, man. We suffering losses, so we ain't trying to, you know, have anybody sick or anything. So we'll figure that whole thing out. But I told her, I said, well, if I'm not going to do your eulogy, then I'm going to end up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up, and when it's my turn to talk, I'm going to talk. And she was like, you bet not. So this is one of the reasons why I'm doing like this live right now. Like, I'm getting some stuff out that, like, because I'm going to be obedient to what my mama said, even though I kind of halfway don't really want to. But, you know, I just loved being in her presence. I loved, like, sometimes it was never fancy. Like, it was always something. Like, she would blow up an air mattress. Like, she had mattresses, like not just one air mattress. She would have like them deluxe air mattresses. And if you was coming to stay, I don't know where she stored all them sheets, but she would come out with a ton of sheets blankets, whatever you needed. And I just remember like my whole family, like, being on the couch, being on the air mattresses. And just that's just who she was. She facilitated a space of love. And so like when people call me or people, reach out to me and they're like, I'm sorry for your loss. And that's cool. Like you do that. That's part of, just the tradition of humanity. Like I ain't against it. But I got joy. And one of the reasons why I got joy is because I had a intimate knowing of like my mother and who she was, and I know she's like dope right now. Like she is happy. You know what I'm saying? Like I fully and completely know that my mom is like in peace because she's in paradise. So like I have no reason to just be like down and out. Now, do I have moments where I cry when I'm looking at these pictures? Yes. And by the way, I do have some pictures that I'm going to be posting here in a little bit. And some of y'all might be embarrassed. So look forward to that. But, like I understand and know my mom was dope. And because of that, I'm in a good space. Like I'm excited for her. I'm excited to celebrate her legacy. I'm just excited about that right now. Like that's what's in my spirit. And like everybody mourns differently. And this is a time of celebration. This is definitely a time of celebration for us. I've talked to my siblings, like every day. Like this morning I was on the phone with my sisters, and all we doing is just laughing and joking, and we're ready to like kind of just, we're ready to get through and celebrate this process. And we understand that like we're gonna have these moments that we're gonna be sad, but we also know that we have this legacy, like this mother who's just super great. And because of that, like we have a hope, we have a love, like we have something within us to like look forward to. And so that's where we are. That's kind of where we are, like as a whole. Of course, we have our moments where it's a little bit sad and you get to thinking about things, but that's kind of where we are. So if you just hopped in, like this is what I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. Just keeping it simple, just talking about this woman that I loved. Leave a comment celebrating her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm good on the, like, here's the thing. I ain't gonna tell you how to mourn. I'm not gonna tell you how to even give me condolences. That's on, like, I am not that type of person. I can't control you in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But what I do want, if you wanna do something, what I do want, if you're gonna share a comment, you're gonna talk to, say something good about it. Give me a memory. Tell me something I didn't know about her. Cause here's the thing, especially once I became an adult and I left, like Kansas City, my mama took in a lot of different people. She was a lot of people's mama. You know what I'm saying? Like, and, so I know that there's stories of times where she showed up and she did things for people and I have no clue what it was. And so if you want to share a story, please, like leave a comment. Matter of fact, I might be able to even give you a link if you want to join in with me live, but I'm not going to be on here that much longer. I want to talk about, I just want to talk about my mama today. And today is my daughter's birthday. My youngest daughter, she turns 19 today, and tomorrow's my 40th birthday. And I think one of the biggest things that hit me is that I'm not going to get that call. And so this is what I did, like, because I'm sharing my mourning process with you, right? Like how I'm going through this stuff. Like one of the things that I did, and I think everyone has done this before, and it gave me one of those moments. I cried for a minute, like for about 10 minutes, just hard, ugly cry, had a headache afterward, cry. I listened to the voicemail that she left me for my birthday last year, and it kind of clicked in with me like, oh man, like, we were so close, like so close. Like she was just a few days away. And I was just like, man, she's not gonna be here to see me turn 40. But I made it, and I only made it because of her. You know what I'm saying? The last exchange, I do want to share this with y'all. It's a private thing, but it's a fun thing. Like this is the thing I love about my mom. One of the last exchanges that we had with her, that I had with her, was like I called her on the phone, and you could just hear her lungs and everything. And it was just like, okay. In my heart and my mind, I was like, bet. Yeah, see, Tiana, it's hard. Yeah, listening to those voicemails, man, they get you. But you do it. You do it. I'm gonna get back to my story, but like you do it. Like every time, like when somebody you really care about, you know you ain't supposed to listen to that voicemail, like, but you do it. Like it's it's something about hearing that voice. Just hearing, like, when I posted that video live, that video yesterday, I probably watched it like 10 times before I posted it. Just like just thinking back and hearing her voice was just something else. But now I didn't forgot the story I was telling. I said I was gonna get right back to it and forgot the story. Okay, yeah. So one of the last exchanges that I had, I'm turning 40, and when you turn 40, you go through these things where you start thinking out loud. Some people call it midlife crisis. I hope it's not a midlife crisis, because that means I would die at 80. I want to live longer. But I get what it is. Like, you start to transition and you start thinking about things differently. And you start like doing stuff different. And I was like, I have tattoos. Like, I'm not a person who don't have them. I just never really have them where you can see them. But if you pay close attention, I do have, like 7 different tattoos. So I went to go get like a cross on my arm, and I got there and I saw this butterfly, and this butterfly just like, it was just perfect. And I was like, yeah, let me get this butterfly. I love, my mother loves butterflies. I said, I'm gonna get this tattoo for her. And this is Monday, and so I get the tattoo. I text her and showed her a picture. And the thing I love about my mom was, like, I never know when she was being like quick-witted or petty or something. She's like, yeah, that's real cute. And, we had just had a conversation where I was like, don't talk, like I said, I'm gonna show you something, and I'm sensitive because I wanted her to really like it. And, and she was like, yeah, that's really, really cute. So she got a chance to see it. And I would show you guys right now, but I had to go get her name under it yesterday, and add to it, so it's under a bandage now. But it's crazy. I love the factor that she was able to see it and she liked it. And so up into the end, like, my mother was such an affirming, like, great, beautiful person. The month of June, like, was like a tough month for me. I was letting go of a lot of things, making some transitions in life. And I was talking to her about my transitions, and she was just there for me, like telling me and affirming, like, this is what God, like, this is God's plan for your life. Don't worry, baby, like, you're good. And I think when we talk about, like, when I think about, like, the parts that are going to hit me hard is whenever, because I didn't talk to my mother a lot. Like, I am not a call mama every day kind of, like, that's not me. And my mother loved and accepted me for that. Like, she wanted me to call more, but she was like, but I know you. And she was so proud of the work that I was doing. And she's so proud of the man that I am. Like, I know this. Like, I'm not being facetious or anything. Like, I'm not drawing attention to myself in this way. Like, my mother affirmed and told me every day, like, every time she called, she would randomly text me, I am so proud of the man you are. Like, let me tell you something. You can't tell me anything about me, because my mama done told me about me. Like, my mama told me what God says about me. Like, that's how I know God loves me and God likes me, because my mama told me that, right? And I believe it. And so, like, getting the affirmation of, like, even switching up, like, my vocation as I'm transitioning out of traditional pastoring into doing more, like, nonprofit programs, and I'm becoming a filmmaker full time. Like, all these transitions that I'm making right now, my mom, it's scary. And my mom was like, she's there. She was just there for me. And so one of the things that's going to be the hardest things for me to realize, she was my prayer warrior. And this is like, oh man, this is so important for me to talk to y'all about. She was my prayer warrior. So, like, dead serious, I'm kind of taking applications for prayer warriors. Nobody's going to live up to the standard of what she was, but I need that back. And the other thing that mama taxed me with was like, maybe you need to also step into that space. And I'm like, now I got to be people's prayer warriors. Like, prayer warrior, like, when I tell you, when I was stressed and I was like, people are saying this about me and all these things are happening and blah, 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 she would not only, like, begin to pray, she would go get a team. Like, she was like, I don't know if she was the captain of the prayer team or whatever, but she would, like, call on the troops. And, like, they would be praying for me. And this is how I know they would pray for me. One, the atmosphere would shift. Things that were happening that were just negative and, like, I didn't think I could overcome it. Like, all of a sudden the atmosphere would shift after I done made that call. That call was literally like calling up your homies who got guns or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, all I had to do was just call her and be like, this is happening. Okay, baby, we own it. And she would even tell me, like, we was praying at 6 and we was praying at 12, and I would look back at the situation. It'd be like 12, I'd be in that meeting, and all of a sudden people's attitude changed about me in the middle of the meeting at 12. You know, like it would be like something I was stressing out about. I go check the mail, and at 12 the check was in the mail that I was looking for. Like, she was my prayer warrior. And that factor, next time I'm stressed out, next time I'm worried and something's going on in my life, my default is going to be to call her. And I know that's going to be that's going to be one of my toughest moments. Tomorrow morning, like I said, oh my God, tomorrow morning, like I might have to go live just to be with y'all or something, because like I know, like there's some people, like I remember when Grandma Brown passed away. When my grandma passed away and I didn't get that call, oh my God. She was quick with it. Like, I don't know if grandma, like, I don't know if she saw that it was a birthday and she just set her alarm to be first. But my Grandma Brown would be first, and then my mama would be second, and then Uncle David would be third every time. So I'm anticipating, Uncle David, it's time for you to step up. I don't know if he can't watch it. He probably ain't on Facebook or anything, but I'm anticipating the first person I'm probably going to hear from is Uncle David tomorrow probably. But just right away, my mama would call in the morning. And so like this morning, not hearing like, you know, my daughter spent the night, and like not hearing my mama call like at 4, you know, because even though we live on the West Coast, she ain't make that that time change transition. She called when she wakes up, so it could be 4 o'clock in the morning here, and she was gonna call. And so, you know, like that's just part of the process. You know, hearing those that getting that birthday call, like that's the thing that's gonna be a little bit rough, but we gonna make it through those things. Easter, like we always, even though we haven't had it in a while, and I know COVID was like, you know, in a way, but like, I just want to say that in this space with y'all, like we gonna have to do something. Like listen, I plan on succeeding in life. I know I'm turning 40, and some people think that 40 is a little bit too late to all of a sudden try to do something different with your life, but I'm gonna do what God called me to do. When I get my first big deal, when I get some money, I'm going to put on a Easter festival, naming it after her. I'm gonna do it. Or one of y'all beat me to it, because y'all got dreams, and y'all entrepreneurs too. You know what I'm saying? Like, my family is made up of a lot of different people who I know can make it. So, you know, I know we got to do something to honor like what she did for us at Easter. And being in the household with her planning the Easter thing, I can honestly tell you, robbing Peter to pay Paul, blood, sweat, and tears, promising herself out to work for advances, like cleaning houses, selling baskets. She did everything to make sure that them grandkids, cousins, and all the babies in our family. And here's the thing that was beautiful about it. She did all that to make sure these kids got something, that they got a chance to celebrate Easter. And here's the thing. I'm a Morgan. And so my mother became a Smith. Smith kids were invited. Colors kids were there. Edwards kids were there. All of us was there. Like, everybody got, like, if you was family and if you was my friend and you had kids, you can bring your kids. And she even would do little things like, you know, she'll hit me up when I was an adult and I got a little bit older. She'd do little things like hit me up and be like, let me get $100, baby. I'd be like, all right, you know. And then so she'd go put $50 in the eggs for adults to find the eggs. You know, like, she would do that type of thing to make sure even the adults was having fun. So, like, she was something else. She lived her love out loud. Like, she cared for us in such a great way. And so I feel like me coming on here right now is just about talking about this person that I loved. It's just me talking about, like, this great person who just was, who, like, for lack of a better term, it's just one of them terms that, like, I use. She was dope. Like, she was it. Like, I can't, this is what I look for in people, you know, like, I talk to my mother all the time. We would talk for hours. She had such a welcoming soul. And she taught me how to be, you know, more reserved about who I gave my flowers, like who I gave my gifts to. Like, she knew I was a dope person. And so she was like, you can't just be out there talking to everybody. So a lot of times people would think, oh, he's an introvert, or oh, he's shy and all this, that, and other. No, there's a certain vibe. And my mama gave me that. Like, I would look for that vibe. Like, I look for people who know and live life in a loving way. Because if not, you will offer something negative into the atmosphere, like into who you are. Like you're gonna share a negative energy. And I never wanted to do that because I know my mother, like that's who she was. She always was trying to share positive energy. Even when she was getting it wrong sometimes, she was like, well, help me understand. And so, you know, that's you know, that's kind of what it is. I'm reading some of these comments, and like one of them almost just made me cry a little bit. Danny Lynchard said her best work is sitting at the microphone. Well, that's nice. And you know, and I want to tell my siblings, y'all see that I'm her best work. You see that, Keela? I know you're listening. Sharon, I'm her best work. It is what it is. I love the fact that like that's just my mother was just so dope. Like that's just who she was, and I ain't gonna hold y'all too much longer because seriously, I could sit here for a long time and talk about her. But what I ask and what I want you to do, you know, like, is celebrate her. Tell a good story. Like we're gonna cry. We're gonna laugh. We're gonna joke. We're gonna do those things. But here's the thing: she was just straight up the truth when it came to just being someone who wanted you to feel better. She wanted you to feel loved. And I think that's the purpose that we should lead out with, is going out into this world and making people just feel better. Tiana, and this is the funny thing, I don't know if I have affected my nieces and nephews the wrong way, but each one of my nieces and nephews always feel like they're the favorite. And so Tiana here in the chat said, same here, I understand. I'm her favorite 100%. She gets it. And so what's funny is none of the other cousins are in here to claim that they were the favorite. But so I guess maybe you are. But, you know, but she made you feel like you were the favorite. And here's something that I don't think I want to talk about this. I'll tell one more little story about some of the stuff that she did. Because Easter was for everybody. But we got something different. Like we got a little bit of a more intimate thing. Like Christmas, she had this cabinet. Armoire cabinet, I don't know what you would call it. I'm gonna say cabinet. And so she would take the TV out of the cabinet and fill it up with candy and chips and pop and everything. And so when we come over on Christmas Eve, the kids could just get diabetes just as much as they wanted. You know, like it was for the grandkids. She made sure everybody who came had some sort of gift, even if they was coming at the last minute. And that I got to post, Tiana, somebody, one of y'all, post a picture of the cabinet. I couldn't find a picture of it, but she would post that. Just like last year, sometimes she did like a movie night for her great grandkids where they had all this candy and stuff. I don't know if I'll ever have grandkids because my kids they don't like kids like that. Maybe they will, they're young, but that's one thing that I wish that that's going to be one of those things where I wish, like, man, I hope she gets a chance to, she won't get a chance to ever like see my grandkids. But what I plan to do with my grandkids, they're going to see her through me. Just the same way my grandkids got a chance to experience, my kids didn't get a chance to experience my grandmother, Carrie. But they got a whole lot of her through my mother and a whole lot of her through me and through the way she loved us. And so, you know, like it's so important. You know, it is really just so important to continue. Keela says Andrew is not the favorite. That's not true. And she's mourning right now. And we just need to rally around Keela and pray because she's in a state of delusion. You know, one of those things is denial. And Keela's in denial right now because she said Andrew's not the favorite. That's not true. The adult baskets was everything. The adults, when we got baskets when we would get baskets, she would put like the fake champagne in them. But still, you know, like, and she would put like everything that you wanted, like just little bitty things you didn't even know you wanted. And the kids, and it was always good because we got baskets. And I think sometimes like the baskets we got was better than what the kids got. So, but yeah, it was that, you know, I just love my mother, man. And I really wish, I'm doing this thing, like I'm on here live, and it's just a part of my process. Like, I'm an entertainer. I know that there's a odd perception. I don't know how it still could exist now, considering most people have heard me talk, but there's an odd perception that I'm a quiet person, and I'm not. I talk, and I talk a lot. So, like, for example, I've been on here 30 minutes now talking about my mom, and I haven't even scratched the surface. I've talked about the surface level things, like she was an iceberg of love, like, and on that tip was just Easter and Christmas stuff. What you didn't see below the surface, like the serious nature of how loving she was the hard work she did in prayer, the hard work she did, up at night, praying for you and checking in. That's the thing I loved about when I told my mom I had a problem and I needed her prayer, she would call me back a week later, needing an update. Do I need to still pray? She wasn't scared of a fast either. Was not scared of a fast. Would fast on the dry. Like, if you just the other day when I was telling her I was going through some tough things. Now, she didn't just had a pacemaker put in. She's like, well, baby, what day we fasting? She was telling my wife, what day we fast? Like, tell me what day of the week we gonna fast on this. And it's just like, all right, we ain't, like, that's just who she was. So, just wasn't scared to just be there and lay it out there for you. So I really want to, like, also just challenge everybody in this space to do that. Live like that. Live like that. Like, live in a way where you're not scared to join in and battle with somebody and love them and be there with them. Because, like I said, like, she made sure you felt loved because she knew she was loved by God. She gave you freely what was given to her. And that's all I'm saying. I'm challenging us on is to go out there and just do what you've already been challenged on and commanded to do. Love your neighbor as yourself. Like, be loved by God. Love God with all your heart, mind, and soul. Like, and just know that, like, it's not just that God loves you today. If you don't take anything away from what I've said, if you don't take anything away from, like, the way my mother lived, you need to know and understand today that, like, you are liked by God, not just loved. Because sometimes we can mistake, like that, yeah, God loves us, but, like, yeah, there might be some things that you're doing that God don't like what you're doing, but God likes you. He loves you. And you should enter into God's presence with worship and with prayer and with the study of the word. Like, you should get in God's presence and recognize that you are liked by God. This is what my mother did, and this is why she was able to love you, because she recognized the God that she loved and the God that loved her. She was able to recognize that God within you. And whether it was a part of your belief system or not, she still saw the heart and the soul of who you were. I could stay on here another hour and just give testimony after testimony of people that I know of that she affected. I think about, and I'm not going to stay on here for hours, but just to share one more, like, I think about my kid's mother, Marshawn. And not to steal or tell her testimony. I know I could tell it, though. I know I can tell it, like, in this space. Like, me and her was talking yesterday about it. And I just told her, I was like, you lost another mother, because my mother stepped in and tried to be as much of a mother to her as she could. I think about my friend Chris. And the second Chris got to an age where he was, he had some family situations, he became our family, 100%. And could come over the house even when I lived out of town. I had countless cousins that came and lived with us. Countless people who just came through that just knew and understood and just felt loved. I look at the dedication that my mama and all of my aunts, Aunt Sharon, Aunt Valerie included too, on that side of the family. And even really, like when Aunt Maxie passed away, they stepped into that space and wanted to make sure, like, I'm mentioning my Aunt Maxie right now because that's part of my mama's mission and legacy, is that she wanted her little sister always remembered. She would tell me stories about how Aunt Maxie would make her laugh. And I was looking back at pictures, and I'm always looking at, and I got 2 or 3 pictures where she is just cracking up sitting next to my Aunt Maxie. But I think about, like, all of her grandkids, how, like, Tyree went off to, like, school, and my mama was, like, calling me, like, we got to support this baby, like it was her grandbaby, so like all of them was loved by her, without a doubt. Like, I don't want to leave. I'm, like I said, I want y'all to share your own stories because I'm gonna leave someone out. I'm not gonna be able to tell everyone's story perfectly and other things, but I just wanted to share those few things. And listen, I may come back on here again tomorrow, and I might get organized and invite some of y'all to tell a story or something like that. But I just had to I woke up this morning and was like, I want to go live. I want to talk about my mama. So I called my sisters, and they was like, yeah, do your thing. Like, it's so funny. I got big sisters that just, ah, let me, I keep saying I'm gonna get off. I need to stop saying it because the pastor in me just keeps thinking of things. But let me tell y'all one more, one more thing about my brother and about my two big sisters. Let me tell y'all about the face of strength and love. Let me tell you about Al. There ain't nobody stronger. You know how you feel, ain't nobody stronger. What he's doing right now, y'all don't even know and understand the sacrifices that this man is making to make sure we all right. The way he checks on me, like, I'm here right now and I'm not flowing off of emotion because of the logic that Al has given me. I'm telling you, my brother is like, he done kicked into this mode. Like, we all know who he is in that way, but like, this is the leadership that mama would always possess. And she would like, okay, we got to act on it. We got to do something. And then like, but like Al comes, like my brother, he came in like, all right, I need you to stay there until like everybody gets tested, and I need this to happen. We gonna need that to happen. I got this. And I feel safe. Like, I'm not even trying to make plans. I'm not trying to do nothing because Al's got that. Now, if he needs me, I'm there. But I feel so safe knowing that he's making the best decision. And his relationship with my mother was one that I always loved to witness because my mother would always like affirm his leadership, his brilliance, and who he was. I saw that, and I saw how it affected him and how he has gone on to be a dope person too. So when I talk about like I like my kids, I like my mama's kids. Let me tell you about my sister Sharon. She got something for y'all that y'all don't even know. She ain't even scratched the surface. And when I tell you she's the glue, she gonna keep us connected. And the thing about her is that she puts it out there right then and there. And a lot of people, that ain't for everybody. Not everybody like living in truth. But that's who she is, and she got that from mama. And I remember talking to mama about Sharon just a few weeks ago, and she was like, and mama she just started up, that's my baby. Like, and she just was like, she knew, and she's like, she got something in her. And, when you think about who's gonna cook a good meal for you, who's gonna try to make you laugh, that's Sharon, she gonna be there. And we talk about Keela, who is basically Lynn Jr. in the sense that her house is literally a shelter. Like living, oh, Jesus. Somebody put the link, because you know what, one of the things I want to tell people who want to send us flowers, in lieu of sending flowers to me, because one, I don't want to watch flowers die. And I'm just saying for me, go ahead and send a donation over to Like Home Hope House in Kansas City. And somebody gonna put a link down there for me because I'm busy doing this part. But like, my sister takes in people that need it the most, and she sacrifices for them. And see, here's the thing about my mama. Now, I ain't gonna lie. Everything, because like I said, my mama showed you her full humanity, right? My mama would do stuff and then be sick afterwards. And, like after those Easter things, she would be sick afterwards. But she would do it anyway. My mama had cardiomyopathy. Like she would give until her heart would just say, all right. And my sister kind of has that same mentality. Like she kind of just gives and pours out till there's nothing left. It would be weird if I then broke down me. That would be kind of facetious, so I'm not gonna talk about me. But I look at my siblings and I'm just like, yo, my mama raised some dope people. And the people that are even adjacent to her that was around and, like she poured into their lives, they're dope people too. So it's a link down there for Like Home KC. Like, my mama, that was a part of her vision. That was a part of the legacy. This is a part of the legacy of love for her. You know, we out here doing what she wanted us to do. Shrine out here, like, she's writing books. She's writing the books and helping people heal. You'll be seeing them soon, but she's got cookbooks and she's got all these gifts and stuff inside of her. Y'all gonna see it. And you know, it's just a beautiful thing to be a part of this sibling group. My wife, I do have to mention this. I guess this is part of me, like, kind of mention, but like, even my wife has a nonprofit where she's like doing kids' hair for free and stuff like that. Like, that legacy of love, like that thing that just makes us keep going and keep pushing. We got that from looking at this woman who gave everything she had in order to make a community happy. So with that, I am about to go celebrate my daughter's birthday. She is 19 years old. We're going to do something for her. In the words of Uncle David, we're going to kick it up. That's what he would always say when come on, hang out with me on the 3rd. We're going to have fun with her today. And then, you know, tomorrow's my 40th. I'm going to figure a way to have some fun and remember my mama and just live in this space of love right now. And like I said, I love y'all, man. Thank you for everybody who's left a positive comment and, you know, who's come in and out and watched parts of the video and everything. Think of some loving story if you want to share a loving story or whatever, and do your thing, man. Share a loving story. It ain't even got to be about my mama. Share a loving story with somebody else. Make somebody else laugh today. Make that your mission. Care about somebody else. And here's the other thing I want y'all to do. Hug somebody the way my mama hugged me. Go down and look at that video before this video. Hug somebody like that today. That make your life complete. Like, hug somebody like that today. And don't be, and look around. Don't be scared to get hugged like that. Ask for that hug if you need that hug from somebody. Get up off your pride and go ask somebody to hug you like that if you need that hug. All right? Love y'all, man. I absolutely love y'all. Absolutely love y'all. So I will talk to y'all later. And I guess I was trying to think of a good ending. I was going to try to say, hey, glory, like mama says it, but I can't emulate her, hey, glory. But all right, I'm out.